Is the wooden clock. I'm going to show you the whole thing. It's on a temporary stand, and there you can see the weight on the bob on the pendulum, and that is a driving weight. I'll move in a bit closer. There you can see the general mechanism. And moving up here you can see the escapement system. The pendulum system is sprung at the top. As you can see there, that's 5 mil, 5/1000 of an inch brass strip in there for the pendulum spring. The second hand is on the escapement wheel. You can see it there going round. That then drives the first wheel here, the first wheel of the escapement there. Looking round the side, it's a bit dull here, but it's still visible. And if I can show you, the whole thing is based on one base plate, which is that black crescent shape you see in the background. The pins are all, pivot pins are all pushed into that, so the wheels are actually rotating on fixed pins. The spindles don't move, they're fixed, and the wheels run on the spindles. All cut up from fretwork, including the hands. Thin ply, an 1/8 ply that is. And this is the winding bobbin. And you can see the ratchets, there's 5 pawls there, which work purely on gravity. And that basically is the wooden clock. Well, you can see I've said in the script that the weight is a copper tube filled with lead, wrapped in mahogany veneer, capped top and bottom with sycamore caps, and I've copied the same idea onto the bob of the pendulum. Covered with, it's a brass cylinder covered with mahogany veneer and a sycamore top and bottom cap. Now, to adjust the pendulum, it's purely friction. It's got a slight grip on the pendulum rod, which is 6 mil round wood or dowling, and the hole is drilled 6 mil, and it gives just a nice movable but still quite stiff friction grip, so you can adjust the clock for timing, and it does keep very, very accurate time. So that's the wooden clock. This is the same design as a wooden clock, but it's all made in brass apart from the pendulum rod, which is 6 mil dowling. All the clocks are on this stand, which is a rough stand for taking to like the club site at York and so on. And I'm hoping to take these to Harrogate in May 2012. Now there you can see the weight that drives a clock is a copper pipe a copper tube filled with lead and polished, and I've copied the same with a pendulum bob. There's brass, but they look quite similar because the clock is brass. So it's made exactly the same way as a wooden clock, but made in brass, which is a lot more difficult. And it's just ordinary cheap brass that you would get from Model Engineer Supplies. It's soft, it's hard to cut, it's tough, it doesn't machine and it doesn't drill very well. But if you use a thin oil, it cuts fine. But I would recommend you use high-speed steel fret saw or hacksaw blades. You can see the brass teeth round the pinion wheel, and the lantern wheel, that is made from 1/16 diameter phosphorus bond welding rods, just cut into lengths. So this is a lantern and pinion clock, the same as a wooden one, but you can see inside there how it works. That piece right in the centre of the picture with like two discs with a black disc in between, that is a magnetic clutch, the same as what's on the wooden clock. So you can move the hands, and I'll show you that. You can move the hands and it doesn't affect the running of the clock. So it still carries on ticking as if nothing had happened, because that magnetic clutch lets it slip, which I think is better than a friction drive, to be honest. Good idea that. But that comes with a kit, the magnet and the steel washer. And again you can see the teeth all cut out, very thin wall there. I was a bit near the bone with that, but it works, so that's fine. Here is a drum, and that is a winding drum, and you can see the thickness of the cord. I'll try and get a bit closer, and that is some sort of synthetic material, but it's immensely strong, you can't break it. So I've used that instead of the nylon fishing line. The hands are made from about a 32nd or less brass, and I'll just show you how it's springed. All cut out with fret saw, or piercing saw. Both hands. I thought I would have problems with this. I thought I'd have to make half a dozen before I got a good one, but they came out first time. I think it was just pure luck. So this is exactly the same design as the wooden clock, but very nice, and it runs nicely. As you can hear, it ticks very even. And I've just stood this up on a table just a few minutes ago, so it hasn't been no spirit levels or anything on it, just stuck it on the table and off it goes. And so does the wooden one and the lantern one, the chain driven one. So that's that. So this will end up, this column, which is just plywood, it's got 4 sides on it like a box, and I'll have 4 clocks on this shortly. There is another one on it, and I'll show you that as well.